we think that without well-being, there's no learning. If you are not sleeping enough, if you are not moving enough, if you are not eating well enough, if you are tired all the time during the lessons, you cannot concentrate on learning. Students and pupils, they are not so well-being at the moment. They are moving too little, they are sleeping too little, they are having too much screen time in their lives, and they cannot concentrate. So we talked that what we should do, we should offer them courses that could improve their well-being. Aim is that they are collecting data from their body with different kind of devices, like they have smartwatches. We have first beat well-being measurement devices that you attach into your body. It can measure your stress during the lesson, and we measure physical activity, stress, time management, sleep, nutrition. And then students analyze by themselves the data, helping them to understand what effects on their well-being and how they could improve their well-being. So the data included stress levels, recovery. We know that heart rate and heart rate variability is dependent on your autonomous nervous system activity. So if you are relaxing, your parasympathetic nervous system is on, and if you are in a stressful situation, your sympathetic nervous system is on. So basically, with these devices, we can measure the stress levels of the students. With this first beat device, that is more precisely collecting data from stress levels, we used it 3 days. So the aim was to use two normal days from Monday to Friday, and 1 day during the weekend. So we can see the difference in stress and recovery between the days. And these smartwatches, they used a longer period, like 3 weeks. So they can measure how much they are consuming energy, how many steps they take per day. And then they could also compare, for example, these polar devices could measure your sleep. For example, I gave them a task that when you go to sleep, one evening, don't use smartphone. Put the smartphone off at 9. And next evening, use smartphone as usual. For me, it was the maybe best of the results that students find out that when you're using smartphones too late, it really affects on sleep quality. And they could solve it from the data also. For example, we made some breathing exercises during the measurements, very simple exercises. And they could see from the data that even 2 minutes of breathing, it can immediately bring the stress levels in good level. They could also compare different devices if there were any differences. And for example, they find out that different devices, they count steps differently. For example, if you are using Polar Watch, you get more steps per day compared to using this first beat. Main result for me was 97% of the students, they found it useful, this measuring well-being with these devices. Normally in school is like this, that when we teacher are teaching some phenomena, we can give them data. But now when the data was produced by the students, it came more meaningful. And 80%, for example, believed that this measuring really improved their well-being. But of course, it would be interesting to see if it was only during these measurements that if they really help something that could help them in long term also. The students talked that most remembered part of the course were not teacher talking, but it was the task that they made by themselves, using these measurements, making group some measurements and analyzing the data. So for me, it was good result, because for all teachers, we have to think, speak less, activate students more. During the measurements, they made some marks to their diaries. So, for example, now I go out and have exercise. Now I read. Now I have normal lesson. Now I go to sleep. And you could also make those marks afterwards. They had Excel, and there was name of the measurement, and then there was this result. For example, what was the average sleeping time during this period? What was the average steps per day that you took during this measurement time, and so on.